Hello and welcome to another Out of Spec Bits video. My name is Logan, if you guys don't know me, and we are at CES 2026 today, exploring vehicle testing. Of course, you guys know that, shipping a vehicle is extremely hard, and to get to that point, there is so much testing that needs to happen. And today we're exploring what hardware and software an OEM needs to use to test those vehicles before production and after production throughout the life cycle of the vehicle. A super exciting part of this video is that Rivian is one of the biggest customers of the company we're interviewing today, and I was actually able to get interviews with two really cool Rivian validation guys in addition to Ipetronik, who is the company that makes the hardware and software behind Rivian's testing. We got into how they tested R1 products before they launched, what they're doing for R2 right now to get it to be perfect before it's in your guys' hands, and what Rivian's philosophy is to vehicle testing and how they perfect their cars before they ship. I find this stuff so cool because you really get to pull the curtain back on what happens before the vehicle is in a customer's hands and how they're able to get it to that point. So let's jump into Ipetronik, Rivian, and the vehicle testing process. I am here with Mark, who is my new friend at Ipetronik. We have a Borealis R1S Tri on display, which caught my eye from the very beginning. That needs no introduction. But Mark, tell us what you do at Ipetronik, and then we'll get into what you guys do for companies like Rivian and others.
Yeah, so Rivian is a customer of ours, and this was graciously brought over from Zago from Rivian. He is an instrumentation engineer, and he chooses Ipetronik to, with our loggers and our data modules, they'll instrument this vehicle, and then they'll drive it around, they'll test it, and they'll collect all the data, and from that data, they'll analyze it, and if anything needs to change, they'll change it, and then they'll go back out and they'll retest it. So
awesome.
Loggers, modules, and then cloud solutions, what we
and
provide.
So walk me through that process, for somebody like him who's buying your product. They're buying hardware from you, correct?
Correct. You know what, let's go to the back.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, if you walk with me to the back, I'll show you some of the products that we have. So we've set it up here, and this would be just a small instrumentation where this is a data logger, CAN FD, it has LIN, we have Ethernet, you can hook in cameras to this. We also have thermocouple modules and sense modules. So from that, they would hook this up externally into the vehicle. All that information when they're driving it that they're collecting would either dump to a laptop or to the logger, and then from that you can extract that data, you can analyze it with our software, and then make changes to the vehicle if necessary.
And then, so walk me through that software on that note. How does your guys' so your guys' software works specifically with your products, and they're designed to be together?
They are. So the software, we call it IP Motion, but the software works very well with a lot of different products, a lot of different sensors. We can hook up our logger into the vehicle network, and it pulls all of the vehicle data, and then you can log it within your logger. So you can stream it, you can view it live, and there's thousands and thousands of channels that every vehicle puts out there through the network that you can snipe and view.
And then you guys also do testing for like high voltage stuff as well, correct?
We do, yep. So we have products that are specific for high voltage, but you can get a lot of those signals through the actual vehicle network, and then you can see them through the logger and through the software.
How long has Rivian been a partner for you guys? Was that before the R1S?
Oh my goodness, right from the very beginning. Yeah, right from the very beginning. So I want to say around 7 years, something like this, 7, 8 years.
Gotcha. So they were using your products originally before production even started on R1S, R1T, the EDV.
And that's where a lot of our product is used, is pre-development. So they use it to develop their vehicles, and it's easy for them to throw this in and to capture the data, and then they'll use that data to make changes, for production. They also use it for verification after production too.
Gotcha. Okay. And so, are you aware of beyond initial production, once the vehicle has been in production for years, are you aware, do they continue to use your product to develop their products over time?
Well, what we offer there is we have a smaller logger that, let's say if an OEM has a quality issue, they can actually take that logger, put it into the customer's vehicle. It will log data. We are then able to remote log into that logger and collect that data for the customer. So in that instance, I would say it's kind of more or less quality control once the vehicle has been launched.
Awesome. So then if they had something like, a software glitch or something happening that they couldn't figure out, they could use
Perfect.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, it's a perfect example. Yep.
Awesome. And then do you guys have other OEMs that you can publicly list that you also, work with or send hardware to?
Sure. It'd probably be easier to list the ones that we don't do.
Okay.
Yeah, but we're in the U.S. here. One of our largest customers is Ford, Hyundai, GM in Germany, Daimler, BMW, Volkswagen.
Amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
And then so when it comes to the combustion side of vehicles, do you guys have products that will allow them to develop combustion as far as all of that data that the ECU is getting?
Yeah, really the drivetrain doesn't really matter too much. Whether it's an ICE engine or it's or a full-on EV, you instrument the vehicle and you tie in the signals as needed. So whether it's a combustion engine or an EV, our data or our loggers and modules work the same.
And then I heard you guys do NVH stuff as well. Can you talk to me about that?
Yeah, so as you know, especially with the EV movement, the vehicle becomes very, very quiet.
For sure.
So NVH has become a top priority for OEMs. So we do offer products where you can instrument the vehicle and you can collect that noise, vibration, harshness data, and then you can analyze it through our software and change things as needed.
So talk to me about that, because I think that's so awesome that you can make that like a quantitative thing. Mm-hmm. Are you guys using like microphones for sound, or are you using vibration sensors? How does that work?
Yeah, it's really dependent upon the customer. So a lot of customers use microphones, but accelerometers are used quite a bit. Microphones, and then they'll even use cameras. So cameras will actually have microphones on them also. So they'll use that for testing.
Any products that you are looking forward to? Anything that you guys don't have released right now that you'll be releasing that you're excited about, or anything like that?
Yeah, we have different level modules that are coming out. We have a CNT, which is a counter module that will be coming out this year. Then we have an STG that will be coming out at the end of this year, maybe the beginning of 2027. So we are continuously adding to our product line on the M3 series.
Awesome. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, Logan. Been a pleasure.
And then jumping over to the Rivian specific side of Ipetronik, I'm here with Tyler and Demetrio. We're going to start with Tyler because he has the mic right now.
Yeah.
Tyler, go ahead and tell us what you do for Rivian. What is your role?
Yeah, so I'm the manager of test engineering for full vehicle test and validation.
And that's for all the R1s?
All Rivian products.
Gotcha.
Yep.
And are you working on R2 right now as well?
We are.
Awesome. And so let's get into Rivian specifically. So tell me about this partnership. You guys are obviously buying the hardware and the software from Ipetronik. How does that play in? Why their products, and what do you do with their products?
Yeah, so on the tail end of validation, we're going out in the real world and we are making sure that the car does all the things that it's supposed to do. When we start the program off, we have a set of requirements. We go and we develop the product, and at the end of the day, we have to make sure that it does all the things we set out for it to do. So Ipetronik's gear helps us take all of the measurements. In particular, we use them a lot for temperature measurements. We have strain gauges in various locations around the car. We do grids of thermocouples. We do all that kind of stuff to make sure that all the subsystems are performing how they're supposed to in hot weather and cold weather. RJ's posting videos from Alaska and then out in Death Valley. That's our team running those tests a lot of times with Ipetronik equipment, taking measurements.
And so walk me through that for somebody who maybe doesn't know a lot about, specifically the validation equipment in that process. Walk me through, what you're physically doing with their products. So like you're out in the field, talk to me about how you use them.
Yeah, so before we go out on a trip like that, we'll have someone like Demetrio here instrument the car with, we'll have heat exchangers in the front that are exchanging heat between the cooling system and the atmosphere, for example, and we want to know how the temperature in that heat exchanger is behaving in hot weather and cold weather. So we instrument all of these thermocouples, we plug those into a data acquisition system from Ipetronik typically that will convert that temperature data into CAN data, and then we can record that CAN data along with data from the car in like a time synchronous file, and then we'll go after the trip, after we've collected all the data, we'll post-process it and make sure that the car is doing what it's supposed to.
And Demetrio, so you're on the side of actually like rigging the car up with this stuff Tyler said. Walk me through that process. What is your job involved?
So we have a lot of engineers that have their testing for temperatures, for drivability, for durability, for just data collection. And what we use from Ipetronik is equipment that allow us to test specific controls or specific sensors. Like Tyler mentioned, the thermal team will want information on temperatures going before the radiator and after the radiator, as an example. We want to know what the solar load is on a vehicle outside and inside of the windshield to see what the difference is. We want to know what the humidity is inside the vehicle. How do we control humidity for the windshield as opposed to the feet? We want to know vibration, right? We put accelerometers to find vibration points, lateral vibration, noise. So all these tests requires equipment that is automotive design, so we can plug it into the vehicle without having to carry an extension cord to be fine.
Right. That's awesome.
And that's where the instrumentation, the test and validation team and the instrumentation team comes in with all the wiring. We select the sensors, we do the data collection, we do all the processing, and from there we manipulate, I don't want to say manipulate, but we change the software to the specific needs.
Awesome. And so just as like a random example that I thought of, if you guys were like developing the electrochromatic roof on Gen 2, you could use one of their sensors to detect how much UV is coming in, is that correct?
Correct, yeah.
Awesome.
A UV light and a solar load.
Perfect.
Would be a good example, yes.
That is so cool that you guys have all of that data and can make a decision with that data.
Correct.
To make the vehicle better.
Correct.
And back over to you, Tyler. I was talking to Mark a little bit about the ongoing process. For a platform like R1, you're deep into the life cycle of the product. How does it work with Ipetronik's components as far as like continuing those tests, squashing bugs and stuff? What is your day-to-day on an existing platform?
Yeah, so we have a whole team of people that do regression testing on software, which is basically before the software reaches the public. We have a whole team of people that are running that software on prototype vehicles. We have engineers that are taking those vehicles home. So we have engineers who own Rivians who are driving that software before it gets released to the public. Most of that is using sensors and data that's collected by the car itself. But if there's something in particular that's like pointed out as a risk item or of a high concern or is a big change from what we did before, then just like the development tests, we can instrument a car with thermocouples, with pressure sensors, flow sensors, all that kind of stuff, using some of the equipment from Ipetronik and other vendors.
Of course, R2 and R3 are in everybody's minds right now. Yep. I'm sure there's a lot you're doing day to day that you cannot share. Mm-hmm. What can you share with us as far as R2 currently being in validation and stuff like that?
It's going to be awesome. I'm really stoked for it.
Whatever RJ posted, that's what we can share.
Yeah. So we've driven them in Alaska. We've driven them in the hot desert around here in Las Vegas. We got some spy shots that came out over the summer of that, and it's going to be really, really good. So
awesome. And anything you can share specifically on like what you guys are doing to validate R2 to make sure that that's the best product possible?
Yeah, I mean we're making sure we test every conceivable environment.
Yes.
Every risk that we identify, we're making sure that we mitigate in some manner. You know, making sure that it can be the best product that it can be for as many people as possible.
And we have a lot of fun doing it too.
Yeah, well, yeah, you know, it's a fun job. It's a fun job. Someone's got to do it, but it's a fun job.
Awesome. Well, thank you to both of you guys. It was such a pleasure, and being joined by a Borelius R1S is just the best thing ever. So
Cool.
I think it absolutely stole the show, and I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for
Yep.
joining.